Welcome to this explainer. Having a brilliant, world-changing environmental idea, it simply isn't enough to make a real impact. I know, it sounds a little harsh, but it's true. So often, we see these incredible green initiatives just stall out before they even begin. And the roadblock? It isn't the science, and it definitely isn't the technology. It's the communication. Today, we're going to explore why you absolutely must master the art of speaking the exact right language to the right people in your local ecosystem if you want your project to actually thrive.
But before we break down the specific strategies, it's really important to note the foundation of our source material today. The core insights we're unpacking are supported by European Union funding, which honestly highlights just how vital community-level communication is to these larger institutional bodies when they're trying to actually implement green initiatives on the ground.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll look at environmental projects and right communication, reaching the local public, effective language for tradesmen, presenting to the municipality, and finally building a common language. Let's dive right in.
All right, starting off with Section 1, Environmental Projects and Right Communication.
Now, what do we mean by effective communication languages? Basically, it means tailoring the delivery of your environmental ideas to perfectly match the specific demographic you're addressing. It's all about translating your green project into a language your listener naturally understands. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't use highly technical atmospheric data to explain a neighborhood recycling program to a local shop owner, right? You really have to match their wavelength.
And that brings us to the core structure of our local environment. As our source material explicitly categorizes, there are three distinct pillars, or stakeholders, that you have to persuade to get real local buy-in. We're talking about the local public, the tradesmen, and the municipality. If you ignore even one of these pillars, well, your environmental project is suddenly sitting on a pretty wobbly foundation. You absolutely need all three to create lasting, community-wide change.
Moving right along to Section 2, reaching the local public.
When you're trying to transfer your ideas to the everyday people, the ones who live, walk, and raise their families in the neighborhood, the rules are very specific. The crucial point here is utilizing a warm, accessible tone that genuinely resonates with their daily lives. Look, the local public doesn't want an academic lecture. They want to know how this project makes their street cleaner, their air fresher, or their local park greener. Your language here must be totally relatable and focused entirely on community well-being.
Next up, Section 3, Effective Language for Tradesmen.
Now, to successfully get your environmental projects off the ground with local businesses, your communication style has to shift dramatically. You can't just talk about saving the planet with the local tradesmen. You have to talk about how the project impacts their day-to-day operations. Your language needs to be highly practical and completely grounded in their daily realities. Are they wondering if this recycling initiative will change their waste disposal costs? Will this new green pedestrian zone increase their foot traffic? For the tradesmen, the whole thing needs to be framed right through the lens of their work environment.
Which brings us to Section 4, Presenting to the Municipality. This comparison brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast in your required delivery. While the tradesman needs that practical, daily-focused language we just talked about, the municipality, they require a highly formal, structural, and administrative communication style for the exact same environmental project. When you're in City Hall, your language must be fluent in policy alignment, budget impacts, urban planning, and regulatory compliance. It's the exact same green idea, but it's wearing a completely different suit.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, building a common language. The source material leaves us with a critical reminder. We must carefully consider these effective communication languages when transferring our prepared environmental ideas to the local public, tradesmen, or the municipality. This perfectly encapsulates everything we've broken down today. You simply cannot force a community to understand your project. Instead, you have to do the work to translate it into the languages they already speak.
So, as you prepare to launch your next great environmental idea into your community, let's say you have all the research, you've secured the funding, and you have the passion. You still have to ask yourself this critical, final question. Your project is ready, but whose language will you speak? Are you ready to switch dialects from the family on the street, to the baker on the corner, to the mayor in City Hall? Because honestly, that adaptability is the true key to making your green idea a reality. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.